Students are responsible for coming into the environment with an open mind and being open to learning. So professors are here in a lot of ways to challenge students. That's a big part of it. And coming in and being able to kind of say, you know, maybe I need to be a little bit, or maybe I will benefit from putting myself outside my comfort zone, is going to create a better learning environment for not just that student, but for the whole classroom. So I see students having responsibilities to the university, to other students, to the professor, just coming to class prepared and acting professionally in a way that create a learning environment for everyone.
Follow through with what our university was set up to do. And hopefully they're attending John Carroll University because they value what it is the Jesuit education offers.
Also to keep them informed, you know, most professors are a lot more tolerant if you talk to them beforehand than afterwards. I think students don't understand that sometimes, that if you got run over by a car, that's different because you couldn't tell somebody that you're injured. But a lot of times students know things are coming up and they don't tell you till later, or they miss something and then they think that it's up to your responsibility.
They have to behave in class, even if they are tired and want to talk to their neighbor. They should not do that because that will disturb other people in the classroom. They should do their homework and take the courses that they've paid for seriously.
One of the things I think in general is that students don't make professors work hard enough or be responsible enough to the students in terms of responding to them. And you should respond to students. I know I'm bad about emails sometimes, but I do always respond eventually.
They shouldn't talk about baseball during class. They should stay on their subject. They should be knowledgeable in their subject, well prepared for the day, and they should give fair and honest homework, quizzes, term papers, and tests should all be on the material in question, having been covered in class, or otherwise made abundantly clear that that material was going to be on the test.
One of the ethical responsibilities of professors to students is that the professors need to be fair to students. And I have a different view of fair than other people. My view of fair is that pretty much everybody's treated the same.
One is to challenge students, so I see that as a responsibility. It's that you know, we are here to teach, we're here to engage students, and we're here to be aware that there's different styles and identify that we might have to change our approach. And you know, I always think of it as, when I'm in a classroom, I see it as a class, as a group of individuals there, but there are individuals in there. So to me, it's my responsibility to identify if somebody's having a difficult time, if somebody is really struggling, and I may have to make a suggestion that maybe this class isn't the right class for you, or maybe we need to sit down and talk and work through some of the problems that we're having. So I see it as my responsibility, or as professor's responsibility, to be able to just be aware of what's happening in the classroom and the dynamics of the students, and keep the classroom kind of under control so that all of the students can learn.
I think if a student has a real serious problem where other students would say, give this student a break.
I've had instances where students have asked for special treatment, and I didn't necessarily know if I could believe the student or if I fully accepted what it was or why it was they were asking for an extension. And oftentimes it will happen after the fact, and oftentimes It's after a student receives a certain grade. And the biggest challenges I've had is when students come and ask to receive some sort of special treatment, and it's not something I can at that point afford to others in the classroom. And there's been times where I've probably made the decision to give leniency when I wish I hadn't. And there's been times when I hadn't given the leniency when, upon reflection, I felt like I should have.
So I look at things like, you know, like circumstances and you know, deaths, severe illnesses, you know, things of that nature, or when my rigid guidelines become a little more, you know, a little more flexible.
I don't know if it's ever fair to make exceptions. Do people make exceptions? Yes. Have I made exceptions? Yes.
What was the...
That sometimes I do let people take exams late. Okay?
What was the reason why you gave it then?
If somebody was sick or somebody, but a lot of that has to do with benefit of the doubt, what I call benefit of the doubt, meaning that if you have history with that person that they've shown you consistently that they aren't somebody who's trying to scam you, then you'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay? If there's somebody that you've had that they've always been trying to work and get extra deals and this and that, then you don't. And so the only reason I'm questioning the word fair, I don't know if that's fair. It's just the way it is.
We're all human, and we have favorite professors, and we also have students who would come into our mind as people who went above and beyond, people who had greater levels of expertise, people who were more apt to really be interested and into the topic. And that's a challenge, I think, for professors to consciously check that, because some individuals really let that be known and bring that to the classroom, and other students don't necessarily do that. I think at times another challenge is that students begin to look at other students through the lens of, well, that person's the favorite, when in fact they may not be. But it too is a challenge. I mean, because obviously the professor brings certain values, just like your boss someday will bring certain values to the table. And those individuals who align with those values will be seen as more legitimate, to start using terms from the class. And those who bring more effort and show more expertise and have greater visibility, all the research would show, maneuver the organization or the classroom better.
I think it happens. You know, it's one of those things that can be avoided, I think, through just training and self-awareness. So it's like any bias in decision-making that we can have. You make decisions when you rate your professors. You make decisions when you're rated in the real world by your boss, or when you're rating your boss, or your boss is rating you, rather. And so for me, it's just knowing, okay, these are some biases that we might have, and through that, maintaining kind of an open mind and making sure that it's something that's not occurring. I guess it depends on how you define it, what favoritism is, but to me, it's about fairness, and it's about treating people based on their own individual needs. So I think it can be avoided.
But sometimes you know, I'm guilty. You're grading a problem and you go, what the heck? And you look at the name, oh, this person doesn't know what they're doing, so you take off the points. You know, so that's probably an ethical thing, I think, that you shouldn't do that. So, like I say, I try to grade, like when I have my test, a problem or a page at a time, so that I grade everybody's first problem through the stack, then everybody's second problem, everybody's third, so that you get really consistent on the grading, because you can't have individual biases.
I cannot imagine playing favorites with students, because then other students would never agree that that was a legitimate reason for treating another student differently.